looks like I'm live. Aloha, everyone. I'm gonna say hi to some folks over here. I'm just gonna check that I actually am live. There we go. Alright, looks like I'm live. Can you guys hear me alright? I will turn that down. I can turn this up a bit. Just bring it closer. 1, 2, 1, 2. Other way. Sorry. Just a little adjustment. Okay, just double checking that everybody can hear me okay. Yes, awesome. Hi, folks. All right, just some hellos for everyone out there. Everybody, welcome to our June 2020 Patreon live lesson. I'll start by saying some hellos to everyone. I just like to shout everyone out because it's such a cool experience to be live together in this pandemic world. But, you know, I mean, we were doing the online thing before it was required. And then we will review last month's lesson, which was I Want to Dance with Somebody, which feels like a million years ago. And then we will work on today's lesson, which is What a Wonderful World in an Island Style. All right, so let me shout out some folks. We got Stephanie here in Hawaii. How's it? Ken in Michigan. Oh, you know, the microphone's over here, so I should maybe move my shout out computer a little bit closer. How about that? Okay, this is kind of awkward, but I'm gonna make it work. Okay, Jenny in Walnut Creek, hello. Terry, Greensboro. Alana, welcome. Alana in Orange. Is it your first time? If it's your first time, please shout that out. Candy says this is one of my favorite songs. Marcy in San Diego, welcome. Dee Dee, Novato. Carol in Florida. Jen in Massachusetts. And temporarily then back to Wisconsin. Cool. Marie, Kamano Island, Washington. Cool. Holly in Kansas. Janice in Poway, South Lake Tahoe. Hi, Janice. Amy in Oregon. Manic in Quebec. Nate, first live lesson from New Orleans. And then back to Southwest Florida. Karen in Durham. Where can you find the chord chart? You want to find it from the Patreon post. Alicia in Texas, first live lesson. Welcome. Picked up the ukulele as a quarantine hobby. Yay for quarantine newbies. Connie in Oregon. Yep. Connie shouting out to Amy, Oregon folks. Well, Connie is helping to gather folks in Portland. Connie, I wonder if you've done like a Zoom jam for Portland folks yet. You could try to do that. Mary in Northern California. Robin in Massachusetts. Tish, Bay Area, first live lesson. Welcome, Tish. Linda in Minneapolis. Myrna in Montana. First live lesson, actually live. Myrna in Montana. I like the alliteration. Wow, we got lots of folks watching. 145. Stacy in Charlotte. John in England. Hello. Sarah in Maine. Quarantine newbie. We're trying to come up with a term for quarantine newbies so we can make shirts. I've heard cukes. Cubies. Quarantinis. Nina in Concord. Bluegrass fan is Bob in Kentucky. Ellen in New Jersey. Pam in Wisconsin. Hello. Barbara in Port Ewan, New York. Likes the encouragement about playing at our own speed and skill. Patience. Yes, it's really the key to everything. I mean, you know, Um, um, yeah, I just don't like to see people get frustrated when they're learning, because learning is a process. Some things we can learn quickly, and then some things are a lot harder to learn, you know? Some things you either have an affinity for, or you actually, were exposed to when you were young, and it makes a difference. And if something is new, you have to give yourself time. Silva Sisters, Deborah in Vancouver, Laura and Avery in Woodland Beach, Ontario. Hi, Avery, one of our young patrons, our young players. Katie in Surf City, Greg in LA, hello. Elena in New Jersey, first live jam, woohoo! Jamie in Ashland, oh, Oregon folks, first live lesson, yay! Alan in Minnesota, Ginger in Boston, Jean in Lake Oswego. Wow, another first live lesson from Oregon. Oregon folks, you guys can do your own jam. Diana in Coastal California. Ginny, hello. Judith, first time. Yay! Oh my goodness. Diane in Montreal. I get to practice my French. Yes, feel free to write in French and make me practice. Leslie in Aotearoa, New Zealand, kia ora. Tanya and Carrie. Donald in Albuquerque, yes. Judith in Citrus Heights. Donna in Pacifica. Karen in Ventura. Lou, first time from Florida, welcome. Naomi in Gold Coast. Straya, g'day. Miguel in New York, first time, oh, welcome. Wendy in Alabama, hi Wendy. Bob in Iowa. Bill in Lodi, awesome. Nate is in Sarasota. Okay, Florida folks connecting. Peg in Wisconsin. All right, Paula, Long Beach. Cecilia in Delaware. Oh boy, sorry. It does this where it just like scooches ahead and then I don't get to say hi to everybody. Okay, and yes, and for folks who are joining later, you can just skip ahead. But I know everybody who's tuning in live, it's just fun to get a shout out, right? Cecilia Del. Oh, there we go. Ken, hello. Elaine, Jen's throwing me some dabs. I love the dabs. Rebecca, first time, welcome. Awesome. Dory in NMC. Excellent. Lynn in Ottawa. Nancy, Ontario, first time. Awesome. Welcome. Tammy, Southern California. Izumi from Miami. Karen in New Mexico. Amanda, Michigan. Yep. Holly in Canada. Jim in Skokie. Yay. Okay. Let's see. Bob in Greensboro. Dog in San Leandro. Nutricia, welcome. Barbara in Plymouth. Teresa in Torrance. Brianna, welcome. Ashley from Austin. Sandra, aloha. Janice says it's been a while. Welcome back. Tamara in Mobile. Michael from the Bahamas. Wow. Alicia. Richard in Spokane. Ginger says first lesson. Awesome. R. Naughton in Santa Barbara. Marie, Washington. First time. Welcome. Awesome. So cool. So many first timers. Welcome. It is nice to have you here. It is super cool just to like have my community grow so much during this time. And I hope the ukulele is bringing you something, some comfort during this time. It's a time when music can really bring us comfort, and so and isn't it amazing that just this little instrument can do so much for us? And that's why I'm so dedicated to the ukulele. Heidi in Arizona, Monique in Jupiter, Marion in New Jersey, Miguel in San Diego, Karen in North Carolina, Tracy in Santa Barbara, Linda in Aptos, Bob in Berkeley. All right. Mary is Mary Jane. Oh, good. Okay. It's good for me to make those connections. Diane in the Bay Area. Terry, hello. 1412 is Michelle in Brisbane. Oh my goodness, 180 of you watching now. I think this is the most ever. So yes, sorry that the shout outs are taking so long, but just know that even if you're watching this later, I'm shouting you out. Durain in North Carolina. Phil said first time, Kamano. John in Bainbridge. Bainbridge Island, Andrea Hampton. Yes, Surcharge says 07. I'm not sure what that means. Patty in Pleasanton. Patsy, first live lesson from San Francisco. That's my old stomping grounds. Julie says Washington, first live lesson. Scraptastic Yarns. Sounds like a knitter. Jane in Lock Haven. Jen likes cukes. Okay. We'll keep working on that. Chris, Ophelia, and Ryan DeSaris family in the Pacific Northwest. Chris and Ryan Desert in Seattle. Awesome. Ginger in Chatham County, North Carolina. Ardon says first time. Cukes was making its way around the newbies FB page. Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, I mean, it's cute. Cukes. We could go with like a green cucumber theme. Stacy, hello. Okay, Freed in Seattle. Stephen in San Pedro. Stephen says, I remember when we were only 30 in the lessons. That's right. Yes, it's awesome to see the community growing. We're at 185 watching. Oh my goodness. Sue, kia ora. Shout out to my Aotearoa friends. Okay, Mandy, Sacramento, first time, welcome. Doug in Salem. Laura, hi. Alex, that's my brother, is watching, and often he brings my parents on too, so if my mom and dad are watching, hi. Sue in LA. Eleanor. Okay, where did that go? Eleanor in Sarasota. Okay. Well, yeah, I think we need to start earlier so I could get through all of these, especially for the monthly live lesson with everybody. Lenny from Mesa, hello. Enjoys the music choices. Thank you. Shayna, new Patreon. Yay! Lou says, where can I find the chord chart? Yeah, look for the Patreon post. I see Dennis. Hi, Dennis. Charlotte in Alameda. Greg in Japan. Konnichiwa. Susan in Philly. Yep. Val, hello. Leslie. Okay. Barbara in Nashville. Gail in Arizona. Rich, Dana Point. Oh, I remember Dana Point. First time. Welcome. George, welcome. Linda in Redondo. Yes. And Paul in Redondo. Wow. Catherine in Toronto. Welcome. Patty in San Leandro. Oh, grew up in San Leandro. Barbara in LA. Polly in NYC. Isn't that crazy? I was supposed to travel to all these places, and now it just seems like so far away. Thomas and Chico. Ellen says, I gave a uke to my 3-year-old granddaughter. Yeah. Catherine in Finger Lakes. Graham in Brisbane. Good day. Yes. Family Fun Media. Oh, it's Keith in Sacramento. Great. Teresa in New Jersey. Patty says, you, Ukulele, and PD Mac have provided the food for my soul during this time. Aw, thank you so much. Yeah, Jeanette in Torrance. Mariana in Kentucky says, hi, y'all. Hi, Rox. Awesome. Bruce in Revelstoke. Awesome. Susan near the lakes, New Hampshire. Yeah, welcome. First live lesson. Daniel, I see you. Can we get to 200? We'll see. We're at 191 now. Anna in Alaska, Leah in Oakland. 192. We'll keep watching it. We'll see. Okay, let's go to our review because, yes, lots of love for everybody. It's been just, a tumultuous year, and it's already mid-June. It's crazy. So let's, channel some good vibes and remember that aloha is, I believe that aloha is part of something that you learn from the ukulele. Aside from, chords and strums and songs and musicality, which are all empowering to each individual, I believe that the aloha spirit comes with the ukulele and that it can nurture us during this time and help us to open our hearts and be more compassionate towards everyone. And the more we share that, the more it will be amplified and we can help to heal our world right now. Yeah? All right, so let's go to the music. Oh, let's go to the other song first. Okay. So, if you can't see the music too well, you can download it from last month's lesson and have it in front of you. But you can also, try to just look on the screen. I can try to zoom it in a little bit more if that'll help. That way, if I zoom it in, you won't see the title, but then we can have more room for the words. Yeah? Okay. I think that'll work. Okay? I think that's a little bit bigger, right? Okay. I see Evelyn and Ben in Palo Alto, Naroleski, Terry in San Rafael, Emily in Florida. All right, so our 80s jam was last month. We did I Want to Dance with Somebody in preparation for the 80s jam, and this month's jam is going to be our Island Vibes, One Love Island Reggae Jam. That's next Saturday, and so hopefully you can join for that. It'll be on YouTube with none other than the one, the only Ukulele. So please do join us for that. Okay. Oh, I'll do this. All right. I want to dance with somebody, okay? If you are a beginner, I highly encourage you to just play at your own level. You can single strum, especially if you haven't watched the lesson from last month yet. Just single strum, take it easy, and just learn the chords. And then if you have been practicing, then you can play right along with me, okay? Yeah, Janice was asking about that intro riff. It's basically just F, F, F add 9, F, F. Yep. I could turn up the sound a little bit more. Okay, so we go F, 2, 3, 4, F, F, add 9, F, F. Yeah? Okay, that's our little intro riff. F. Clock strikes upon the hour and the sun begins to fade. There's still enough time to figure out how to chase my blues away. B flat. I done alright up till now. It's the light of day that shows me how. And when the night falls, loneliness calls. F. Oh, it. Second verse. I've been in love and lost my senses, spinning through the town. Sooner or later the fever ends and I wind up feeling down. I need a man to take a chance on a love that burns hot enough to last. So when the night falls, my lonely heart goes. Oh, I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me. Oh, I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me. D minor. Somebody, ooh, somebody, ooh. Somebody who loves me. Somebody, ooh, somebody, ooh. To hold me in his arms. Oh, I need a man who'll take a chance on a love that burns hot enough to last. So when the night falls, my lonely heart calls. Last chorus. Oh, I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me. Oh, I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me. To the outro. Don't you wanna dance? Say you wanna dance. Don't you wanna dance? Dance. Don't you wanna dance? Say you wanna dance. Don't you wanna dance? Dance. Don't you wanna dance? Say you wanna dance. With somebody who loves me. I need to record that. All right. Okay, so we did that last month, you know. So don't worry too much if you know you're not getting it right now, because you can take time and practice it. Go back to the previous lesson, and we will move on to today's lesson. Okay, why does it look like that? Let's make sure this is okay. I will widen this a bit. Okay, I think that's better. Huh, I don't know what's going on there with my screens. It might be a little bit shifted. There we go. Okay. Oh, I don't know if that's any better. Okay, so we're going to work on What a Wonderful World. And so our Island Reggae Jam is next Saturday. That's the 27th, I believe. And I will get out a chord packet to all of you with the songs for the jam. So, you know, in many ways, I mean, Island Reggae you can play the backbeat strum as the basis for the Island Reggae beat, but then in order to get the Island Reggae feel, we want to start adding some muting and some chucking. It's more just about getting a really clean rhythm, yeah? So, Pam is saying the last part of the music is missing. I will shift it up as we get further along in the song, yeah? Actually, I could do that now. Yeah. Okay. So, what am I playing? I'm playing a borrowed Kamaka right now. I thought it sounded really nice on this song, so that's one of the reasons why I did it. Okay, so I'm going to scooch up the music so you could see the whole music, but then we will miss the title on top, but I think that's all right. Okay, so when I walk through a new song, I like to walk through the chords first, yeah? And let's just walk through the chords first, then I'll do a playthrough for, I'll do a playthrough, maybe I'll play through the whole thing, but just give you a chance to get a feel for the song. Okay, so let's just walk through the chords at the top first. Yeah. That's a good place to start if you are more of a beginner. So these live lessons are all levels lessons. So we're going to have some super newbies in here, and we're going to have some pretty intermediate folks. This arrangement is definitely harder than beginner. It is, I would call it an intermediate arrangement, but we will try to make sure that the newbies have something to play and our upper level folks have something to play as well. Okay, so walking through the chords at the top, we have C, we have E minor, oh, that's not right, okay, F, here I can turn it up here more, okay, and then E7, A minor. Okay, this next chord, G sharp, is optional. It is for the intermediate players. The beginner players can skip it if they want, okay? But give it a try. You're going to bar your 3rd fret and then add your other 2 fingers in the F shape. Okay. Then we have our D minor, G7, B flat, everybody's favorite, and then the A. Okay, actually what I'll do is let's single strum through first, and then I will show you where we're going to go with it, okay? So I'm going to zoom in on that first verse. Okay. Oh, let me make sure you have chords. Okay, so just zooming in on that first verse. Single strumming, so single strum means 1 chord, 1 strum per chord you see, and you can sing along if you like. All right, verse 1, single strumming. I see trees, E minor of green, F, red roses too. Okay, we'll keep going, F, I see them blue. Now you slide your finger back for E7, for me and you. Okay, let's not play the G sharp right now. Just go to the second line with the F. And I think to myself, D minor, G7, what a wonderful A minor world, D minor, G7. Okay, so you can see that the chords move really fast. Okay, so if you are more of a beginner, then you can just focus on that single strumming. And what I love to tell beginners is, if you only know C, then just play C every time you know, every time you see it, and then the next time through, add another chord. You know, you don't have to worry too much about anything else. Just focus on those chords. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to walk you through the layers so that you can see it for right now. So for verse 1, if I show you the backbeat strum, we're going to play, you can see at the top there I wrote little d, big D, little d, big D. That's my key for how you interpret that strum. So that would be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and, where you are strumming lighter on the little d and heavier on the big D. Okay, so you can practice that with muted strings with your left hand, just lightly touching the strings. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and, yeah. And then we're going to take that into a reggae variation, of variety of reggae variations, okay? All right, so I will show you first with the beginner backbeat strum, just verse 1. Ready? So we're going to go with the C, we go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Okay, I'll sing here. I see trees of E minor, green, red roses too. F, I see them blue for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see, okay? So that's with your backbeat strum. So that is what I would call level 1. Let's call level 0 is just playing those single strums on the chord. Level 1 is playing this backbeat, 1 and 2 and. Yes, the smaller D is a lighter touch. You can, if you want, just play fewer strings, but your goal is actually to play all the strings, but just touch them in a more controlled way, in a lighter touch. Right? So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Okay? Actually, let's just all do that, walking through verse 1 slowly, and then I will show you those different variations. Okay? So, walking through verse 1 nice and slow, we'll try that, the beginner backbeat. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Let's keep this tempo and walk through the entire line. So C, right? You're strumming light, 1 and 2 and little strum, big strum, little strum, big strum, 1 and 2 and 1 and. I see trees of E minor, green and 2 and F, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Okay, so you can practice that at a nice slow pace. Yeah. Okay, so now just to give you an example of what we're building towards. Okay, if you're going to mute on the little D's, right, then you are going to lightly touch the strings with the left hand, and you can do a little scratch. So you go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. I will walk more detailed through how you do that, but first I'm just going to demonstrate what it is. Okay, so you're going to mute and scratch on the little D's. Instead of the little D's, you are going to do a mute or a scratch. So mute means you could actually play nothing. You could go 1 and 2 and 1 and. I see trees of green. But you have to use your left hand to stop the sound, or you use your left hand to stop the sound, and on the right hand you are scratching the sound. Yeah? I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Okay, are we kind of feeling the reggae beat a little bit more. And I will talk about how you make that nice and crisp, okay? So that's our first variation. Then you can do what we call like a halftime variation. You could do a chuck instead of the second beat. So you go scratch, strum, chuck, strum, scratch, strum, chuck, strum, okay? So that takes some getting used to, but I'm just gonna play it so you can hear it, okay? All right, so on the C we go scratch. Sometimes we call this a halftime strut, okay? I see trees of green. Oh, sorry, I'm getting thrown off by going slower. Okay, I see, all right, scratch. There we go. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Okay, so again, just kind of illustrating the levels that you want to get to, seeing if you know, you can hear the differences. Okay, then the last variation is you're going to do a down up, right? Instead of just the down strum on the backbeat, you're going to do a down up. So that sounds like mute, mute, down up, chuck, down up, mute, down up, chuck, down up, mute, down up. Then you really feel the reggae. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom on me and you, and I think to myself, I'm going to the G sharp, what a wonderful world. Okay, all right, so again, it's stepping up as you feel comfortable. So in this month's beginner lesson, I gave a like really kind of step-by-step walkthrough of how you get to the basic muting for the reggae strum. Yeah. This takes a long time to get, so don't put too much pressure on yourself. You know, I give you these different variations so that you can choose one that feels comfortable for you to work on, you know? Okay, so yeah, it is challenging for a lot of people to incorporate this rhythm. You really, you see me swaying with it, right? That for me, and I really believe that rhythm is a full body thing, but for me, if I am not feeling the sway, it's harder for me to do overall. So sometimes if I'm like, oh, I'm not getting it, then I walk myself into the sway, right? I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself. Try to give yourself permission to sway, or just kind of find what the sway is that helps you achieve the rhythm. Okay, all right, so we're gonna walk it back to our backbeat strum. Okay. So let's take it way back to the backbeat strum, right? So just remember that with the backbeat strum, we are emphasizing the and beat, right? The 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 And all through these different variations, we are emphasizing that same and beat, which is called the backbeat. The count beat will be the downbeat, right? The 1 will be the downbeat, and then the and will be the backbeat. Then the 2 will be the downbeat, and then the and will be the backbeat. So it's always 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and, okay? So let's just actually do that for a little bit, right? Let's go walking through the chords, right? Just kind of remembering, building that your body's rhythm, feel for it, okay? 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Okay, so then we're gonna try adding a mute. All right, so just this backbeat that you were doing, 1. I'm like leaning, swaying on the downbeat. So think about 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. What works for me rhythmically might not work for you rhythmically. So you can move how you need to move, but it's more about getting a sense of the movement and that it's with the rhythm. 1 and 2 and 1. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Yeah. Just try this very basic thing, right? On the C. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Try to just strum heavier on the and. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is you could use the middle finger or the ring finger or both, and you're just going to touch the strings lightly on the downbeat, okay? So where we were going 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and, okay? You're going to drop your fingers for the 1. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Yes, if you are a super newbie, then I would encourage you to join our beginner level so that you can get walked through more beginner level lessons, yeah? But you could just do this, 1 and 2 and. Just try dropping these fingers, right? And when you strum with the fingers dropped, you'll get a scratch sound, or you just don't even strum there. Let's just do this. If you strum on the C and then drop these fingers and stop the sound, that's a mute, okay? So let's just practice that. 1, stop the sound. 2, stop the sound. Actually, it should be on the count, right? So we go 1 and stop the sound, right? 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and. I'm not even doing anything with the right hand. I'm just using my left hand to stop the sound on the count. This could take some time to get used to. Remember, your brain has to send a signal to your fingers to do an action that they're not used to doing, okay? So take your time with it. But this is like the process, right? That you are strumming, then you are letting your fingers stop the sound, yeah? And you can lighten up on the ring finger of the C, yeah? And then you're gonna press down and lift up and strum again. So strum, right? Mute. Strum, mute. And now you're trying to do that in time. Strum, mute. 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 Okay? So that's like, our level 2, right? So you're going to go from backbeat strum 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and that's level 1, right? To level 2, which is strum, mute, strum, mute, strum, mute, strum, mute. Yeah. So some people actually find it easier to do the scratch with the right hand because it keeps the right hand moving, okay? So that means that when we do the mute with the left hand fingers, yeah, that we then go ahead and strum over the muted strings, right? So then we go strum, scratch, 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 strum. Okay? Again, if you are super beginner, you're perfectly fine just sticking with the single strums on the chords, okay? Or the backbeat strum. Strum, yeah? Scratch, strum. So let's try this. Walking through the first verse really slowly, okay? There's a lot of chords going on, so you want to get used to what it's like to scratch, right? And mute on all these different chords, okay? So let's start with the C, all right? So we're going to not sing, let's just do the chords. So we start with the C, we start with the scratch. So you're muting, ready? We're going to do scratch, strum, scratch, strum, okay? Scratch, strum, scratch, strum. Am I lifting my ring finger on the scratch? I am releasing the pressure from my ring finger on the scratch, okay? Because if you're pushing down on it, you're going to hear it. So you want to release the pressure enough so that all of the strings are muted. Okay, so the mute and the chuck sound very similar to you, so they should be different. I will illustrate what that is in a second, okay? Let's walk through our scratching and strumming across that first line. Let's do that, okay? So C, we go scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum. Let's go to our E minor, okay? So we're going to, in order to do the mute, you're going to use your pinky finger and drop it on the key, on the fretboard, right? So scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum. Okay, now we go to our F, and we're going to use these two open fingers to mute, yeah? And we scratch, and then we strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum, and then we go back to C, all right? Scratch, scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum. Okay, now we're going to keep going. I see them bloom. F, F, scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum. Back to C. Scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum. Now we slide over to our E7. All right, now you're going to use your pinky to help mute that last string there. You can just use your pinky to cover the whole thing if you can. If your pinky won't reach, try to push your wrist forward a little bit. Yep. Scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum. And then our A minor, we use these two open fingers. Scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch. Okay, there's a lot going on here. Beginners, again, focus on that backbeat strum, focus on just achieving the chords. When you know your chords in the left hand, it will make it a lot easier to focus on the strumming and the rhythm. Yep. Okay. Fried says she learned this, or is it he learned this? Sorry, I don't know which pronoun that is. 2 weeks ago, but now your hands are doing it on your own. Awesome. You know, a lot of it is just kind of muscle memory, they call it. Yeah. Okay. So let's as a way to keep our newbies motivated, right? Let's walk through more of the song on our beginner backbeat. Yep. And then if you are at home working, you can work on the mute if you like. Yeah. And the chuck, let me just explain this difference between the mute and the chuck, and then we will walk through the entire song with our beginner backbeat. Yeah. Okay. So this is what just the mute sounds like. You're going scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum, scratch, strum. Okay? So if you just have muted strings and you scratch, right, then you are touching the strings that are being deadened by your fingers. Okay? A chuck, you are actually moving the strings against the fretboard. Okay, so the difference is when I do the scratch, the strings do not touch the fretboard. When I do the chuck, they do touch the fretboard. That's the technical difference. In order to make them sound different, you have to maybe scratch lighter. Make sure that when you scratch, it's not touching the fretboard, and make sure that when you chuck, it actually does touch the fretboard. Does that make sense? So that's the difference that you want to find. So that way, we'll just walk through this muting and chucking for a little bit, but newbies, hang on, okay? So if we were to do the C, right, we do a scratch, strum, okay, and then a chuck, and then a strum. Right? So, strum, chuck, strum, mute, strum, chuck, strum, mute, strum, chuck, strum. I'm actually muting again when I do the chuck. So you can think of it that way, that you are muting every time on the downbeat, but then sometimes you are scratching and sometimes you are chucking. Okay? So just try that. So try mute, chuck, mute, chuck, mute, chuck. Just see if you can hear it for yourself. Yeah? They might sound the same, that's okay. I mean, it's a subtle difference. You are scratching the strings, you are moving the strings against the fretboard. Yeah? Yeah, I mean, that in itself, it's already rhythmic. I see trees of green, red roses too. You can play with no chords, just muting and chucking. Okay, Ginger's asking, how do you deaden the sound and not play notes when you scratch? You have to have a light touch. So your fingers are touching just enough, right? Just enough to deaden the sound. But if you're pressing too hard, then you get a little bit of sound. So then you probably want to lighten up a little bit so that you are just barely touching the string. Oh, this is good clarification. Ben is saying, so Chuck uses the right hand and Mute uses the left hand. It's a little combination of both, but yes, Chuck depends on the right hand. You can't chuck without the right hand. But the left hand, you need the left hand mute in order to get the mute scratch sound. Yes. I would say that you want to use the mute also when you do the chuck. Yeah, but yes, technically the chuck depends on the right hand. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's walk through the song on the backbeat strum. Okay? Walking through the song on the backbeat strum, so newbies can hang in there. For those who are working on the mute or the chuck variations, you go ahead and work through them. But I'm going to play along with the newbies to make sure that they don't freak out too much. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right, backbeat strum. We're going 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and on the C, 2 and 1. There's a 1 and 2 and for each chord. Okay, 1 and 2 and let's go through verse 1. I see trees of E minor, green, red roses too. Just try getting the first, sorry, I'm gonna pause there. Just trying to get the downbeat to be as little as possible. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, D minor, 1. What a wonderful world, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, D minor, 1 and 2 and G7, and I see skies of blue and clouds of white, bright blessed day, dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Good. Okay, let's pause here before the bridge. So what you should be feeling in your left hand is that really subtle movement of what we call like pumping on the strings, right? It's the difference that in between each strum you are pushing, releasing, pushing, releasing. Are you feeling that? So that's what you want to focus on right now. You are pushing and releasing in between each strum. That will take some time for your fingers to build up that strength and agility, but you should be feeling that now. I'm definitely feeling it more than like now that I'm breaking it down, right? I'm definitely feeling it. So you're just pushing, releasing, right? Even if you are playing the beginner backbeat, you can try that. Pushing, releasing, pushing, releasing. Okay, let's go to the bridge. Ready? 1, 2, 3. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky. Push, release, right? Are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, D minor, I love you. That's like his style. Let's keep going. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Okay, to the B flat. Yes, I think to myself, G7, what a wonderful world. A minor. 47. Okay. And if you were to finish the song, you would play that again. What a wonderful world, yeah? Dawn is asking, when chucking, don't you deaden the strings with the heel of the right hand, whereas in a scratch, you just strum with the right hand? Yes! You are using the heel of your right hand to kind of complete the deadening. If that makes sense with the chuck. Yeah, you are using the heel of your hand to help push those strings into the fretboard on the chuck. Yeah. But you are also using the left hand to mute the strings at the same time. Yeah. I mean, you can. So the difference is if you chuck with open strings, right, you actually get a bigger sound, and then if you chuck with the deadened strings, you get less sound. And it just has to do with the strings vibrating before they get pushed against the fretboard. Yeah, it's all physics. It's pretty crazy. Okay, so all right. So let's play it through one more time. Let's play it through all the way through, and I will play it at a more intermediate level this time. Okay, so newbies at home, go ahead and play your backbeat strum or just play your single strums, and then I am going to articulate more of the muting, the chucking, the reggae variations, and playing that G sharp for our intermediate friends. Yep. So that G sharp, A minor, you want to slide your bar up to the 3rd fret. So you just want to kind of get used to that. For me and you and I think. Okay? And in that case, the A minor, you could play the A minor with the index finger so that you can slide the bar up to the 3rd fret. Right? For me and, if you use your index, A minor. You and I think to myself. Okay? So that is an option, right, in terms of getting there. Okay. Am I muting all the strings? I am attempting to mute all the strings. Okay. So Ginger says, how are you hearing the backbeat when you put it all together with the mute and the chuck? So we are always hearing the backbeat, okay? Because what we're muting and chucking are the downbeats, right? So if we're muting and chucking, we're going 1 and 2 and 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 1 and 2 and, right? So the backbeat is always there, right? In any of these variations, the backbeat is the backbone. I just made that up. I don't even know if that's a real thing. Okay. And Wendy's asking, what do you think about using 2nd position C or the bar? Yeah? Bar C. I would use bar C because anytime that you're going to do a pump or a mute, it is easier to do it with a bar. But, for our beginner friends, I like to make sure that, we know that we use the 1st position C. But if you like, you can use your bar C. Okay? So we're going to walk through one last time and articulate a little bit more of these different, more intermediate reggae variations. And feel free to to add any questions that you have about these intermediate variations. All right, here we go. From the top. Ready? I'll do the bar C here. You could try the bar C as well. Ready? So we're going to scratch, 2, 3, we go. Scratch and chuck and scratch and chuck and scratch. Right? See this pulse happening here? Right? I'm going to move this up so you can see me pulsing. Yeah? There we go. Okay. Let's walk through it. Ready? 1, 2. I see trees of... Oh, I already messed that up. Ready? 1, 1 and 2 and 1. We'll have a little intro so we could get warmed up, so I don't have to think about it. I see trees of green, red roses. Oh wow, that's super fast. Even for me, just try to like think and talk through it. Okay, let's go slower. Ready? 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. We'll try here. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies scratched of blue and clouds of white and 2 and 1. That blessed day, dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, Demon, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They learn much more than we'll ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. B flat bird. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. We'll go to the outro. What a wonderful world. What a wonderful world. Okay, so something that I didn't mention was that if you do the final variation where you do mute and then you go down, up, okay, you're going to try to do a little pulse in between the down and the up. That's why that's the final variation, okay? So you go, so scratch, okay, you're doing pulse, pulse, right? So you go scratch, pulse, pulse, track, pulse, pulse, track. Yeah, so this is, you know, it's interesting because it seems like it should be simple, reggae, it's like, seems very straightforward, but the rhythm is so hard, so hard. It's taken me years to figure this out, so definitely give yourself a lot of time to get it. It can take, you know, a lot of like just absorption, osmosis for you to just, you know, integrate that rhythm. there's a coordination thing, but first you have to just feel the rhythm. If you start feeling the rhythm, you get the, okay, one, pulse, 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 then it'll start manifesting in your fingers and in your strum and your scratch. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. It is so a lot of people want to learn is Brother is like Somewhere Over the Rainbow, What a Wonderful World medley. So this, for the most part, is like his What a Wonderful World in the medley. So if you wanted to, you could play along with Brother is using these chords. He doesn't use the G sharp. The G sharp is from the jazzy version, but I really like the G sharp. I think the G sharp adds a lot, and it just makes it more jazzy. But yeah, people have asked, how to play that part of the song, and the chords move kind of fast, so it's not really super beginner friendly. But if you've learned Somewhere Over the Rainbow, then you can actually see that the chord progression for this follows the chord progression of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And then, the little jazzy bits, I think just are some more interesting chords that you can play with, including the G sharp, including that B flat to A ending. And then the reggae, really Somewhere Over the Rainbow, Israel Kamakawiwo'ole's version, is in this reggae style. He's really going, he is doing this reggae style. It's just that, for beginners, I don't teach it that way. So you can also listen back to his version and hear what he's doing. He's going. Yep. So, and you can see right there, I wasn't really getting the rhythm until I was like, okay, now I feel it. That it's, for me, the sway is a really big part of getting my whole body lined up to do this rhythm. Yeah. Practicing slow is really good. Yeah. Wendy's asking, is there a name for that double pulse strum? I don't know. Yeah. Double skank, maybe? And the reggae name would be like double skank. Yeah. Great. Awesome. I know. Let me know if you have any more questions. I know this is a lot, and I know, like, for the newbies it might be way too much, but in our beginner lesson this month we tried to break down reggae strum more, the beginnings of reggae strum more, and we're focus on more on the muting. So if you're a beginner, you might want to join us over there. It took me a long time to learn this much, and Christina mentioned that Lenny plays it this way. Lenny plays everything this way. Lenny is a master of island reggae. And so, yeah, next Saturday, our island reggae jam is going to be super fun. He's going to, of course, set the tone and the rhythm for all of this. And, I mean, you can also see that if you start with the backbeat strum, if you start with just the muting, it's all building towards something. So I wanted to make sure to introduce these concepts. I mean, over the years, actually, we've had several different Patreon lessons about reggae, but it is something that you got to keep working at, I wanted to introduce this so that when we play those songs, when we play Three Little Birds, when we play Somewhere Over the Rainbow, when we play I'm Yours, that you don't think of it as like, oh, these are so easy, that like, why are we just playing easy songs? Actually, if you want to really capture the true rhythm of it, there is plenty to work on. So, you can always look at these songs. They only have 3 chords, they only have 4 chords, but they are a wealth of opportunity to challenge yourself. Yeah. Okay. Nate says, I've had my uke for 5 days. You are a brave soul. Congratulations. Thank you for being here. Good, good. Leslie says, I am fortifying my brain with a lot of chocolate. Yes. After you do brain work, sugar is good for the brain. Although I think fruit is supposed to be better than chocolate, but chocolate is a fruit, right? The cacao bean? I don't know. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Yes. Awesome. The Reggae Jam will be at our usual Saturday jam time, which is 3 p.m. Pacific, which is noon Hawaii time. Yeah? Yes, does just play the one thing, the low string first, the low G. That's even harder. You gotta pluck, then pulse. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Okay. Well, thank you all for hanging out so long. Yeah, big shout out to the newbies who have hung in there. Thank you so much for sticking around. And you can just see we have a wide range of players, you know, and I think, some of the other players on here have been with me as patrons for going on 3, 4, 5 years. And these lessons, they can unfold for you over time. That you might come back to this lesson in a few months and be like, whoa, now I get it. Or it might be several months, it might be a year, but you want to give yourself that patience, give yourself that time. If this is frustrating to you, move on to something else. If you come away like learning one thing, learning how to mute, learning a new chord from this lesson, then consider that a win. And you know what I say, you practice 5 minutes a day because it's good for your brain and it's good for your soul. Yeah? And chocolate too, also good for your brain and good for your soul. Okay. Hi to all the 100 days folks. Yes! Congratulations, 100 days folks. Actually, I was thinking we could do this for 100, like day 100. I got to talk to folks about that. And I don't know if this is too hard for day 100, but it might be a good challenge. Yeah? Yes. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Some folks I didn't see before. Yavar. Yeah. Finally got the chucking. Awesome. I know. Okay. So thank you all so much. I will see you next week. I will be finding ways to share some of the different lessons from our Island Reggae Jam, our upcoming Island Reggae Jam. I'll share the packet with you all, and then we'll do some run-throughs of the songs before we get to the jam day, which would be Saturday. Yeah? Okay. All right. And then I shared an article on Facebook that All About Jazz wrote about me. It's like a full-length feature article about my teaching. So I will share that on Patreon so that you can all read it and check it out. And I also did a collaboration video with 58 YouTube and Instagram artists. We did a virtual choir of the song "Where's the Love," just to raise awareness about social justice. And I need to share that too so that you can all check it out. Yeah? Okay. All right. Thank you all so much. Everyone take care. I really appreciate you being here. I send you all my aloha. Mwah! Happy reggae strumming. Be patient with yourself. Take care. See you soon. Bye.